Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
James, go from the A, baby.
James from the A. Talk to me, my brother.
Go, Rob A. Don't let Rob Boy Fresh fool you, home. He not from Baltimore, home.
Oh, well, he from DC, right?
Homie, right.
He from DC, yeah.
Right. Homie's not from Baltimore. He don't got no information.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. DC got a thing about Gervonta Davis because they want him to fight Gary. Russell.
Okay.
Coach. If he fight Gary Russell, he gonna sleep his ass.
Mm.
If he fight Gary Russell, he gonna sleep him.
Oh, so you saying it's a DC? You saying it's a DC Baltimore thing?
It's a DC Baltimore thing, Coach. It's been going on for years. I'm 50 years old, Coach. Baltimore been going against DC for years, way before I was born.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Baltimore DC. I'm telling you, Coach. We dealing with an individual that's mentally, his mental capacity is not as high as people think it is.
Who was that?
He's Gervonta Davis.
Okay.
Gervonta Davis dropped out of school in the 6th grade, bro.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis' mental capacity ain't what people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we dealing with a person that came from nothing, right? Who doesn't have a real mental capacity. Like, we can't compare Gervonta Davis to Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia. Right?
I see what you're saying.
Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney have their mother and their father. They've had this their whole life.
Right.
You dealing with an individual that had nothing. I'm talking about came from nothing, came from out of the foster home. So why do people not understand he's going to allow one of the greatest persons to ever make money in the sport of boxing to guide his career?
Yeah.
He's saying that he never asked to fight any of them because why? Why do he have to ask to fight any of them? People keep hollering about legacy. So, man, when has legacy paid your bills?
That's what Floyd Mayweather says. But Floyd Mayweather always brags about his. But listen, you know the crazy part about that, James, what you just said?
Yeah.
Floyd says that legacy can't pay bills and stuff like that. That's what Floyd Mayweather says. But he became wealthy because he established his legacy. What he says. Go ahead. No, what he says is totally contradictory to the way he had his boxing career. Floyd always wanted legacy fights. He wanted the De La Hoyas. He wanted the Sugar Shane Mosleys. He wanted the Cottos. He wanted all of those top guys. He is who he is because of the fighters who he fought, which cemented him in legacy. But now with Tank Davis, he's moving him and Tank is moving in a different direction. And I say all that to say this. I think I've been too hard on Floyd. You know what I mean? Because if the arrangement is working, this kid is a multi-millionaire, fighting the way he's been fighting. And you sharing information with me from a mental capacity. I don't know nothing about Tank's mental capacity, but I know his background. I know he had a rough upbringing. His upbringing was rougher than mine. You know what I mean? But it's rougher than mine that I know of. And I came up harder than motherfucker. But go ahead.
The only and Coach, like, the only reason why I can say it is because I watched it. I watched him from a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you speaking to someone that watched this kid grow up in his neighborhood.
Mm.
Like, the boxing gym saved his life. Like, he has so many friends. Like, I used to have to walk up, Coach, because I've been through ordeal, man. I'm 50. I grew up in Baltimore City my whole life.
What is your relationship with Tank?
When I noticed, we're just family friends.
Okay.
We're just family friends. So, me and his mother grew up together.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? So as me watching him throughout his life, in and out of foster home, being left in the house by himself, shit like that, I know his mother was a stone cold addict. His father was a stone cold addict. So this kid, he grew up angry, right? He grew up angry. So in order for him to learn a sense of control, he had to go into that gym and find love that he couldn't have nowhere else. Mm-hmm. As he became like 15, 16, I used to see him. I used to see him walking up and down on the avenue with the little kids, the dope boys, the crack boys. You feel what I'm saying? I watched him. You know what I used to say to him every day, Coach?
What's that?
Boy, stay away from here, bro. Stay away from here, bro.
Yeah, be more.
Like,
be more. He holds.
See, the thing with Tank is he believes that he has to carry everybody that's around him. Mm-hmm. He believes that he has to carry everybody around him. So, what he did was he just put his career into the hands of the man that made the most money in the sport. Now, us as fans, we want to see the best fight. And I guarantee, listen, Coach. I guarantee you, if they come in there and say, Tank, we want you to fight Loma, I guarantee you he'll say, let's go.
Do you think? So let me ask you a question. Tank has said online that he got one more fight under his contract with Floyd Mayweather. So yeah. assuming if he leaves the gravy train that's been working.
Yeah.
Assuming if he leave, what do you think his next move would be? Do you think that he will make those other fights, or would he? Go, what do you think?
You know why? You know why, Coach? Because just like we tired of not seeing him fight the people, he tired of hearing people saying that he's scared. See, Tank's whole life he's lived off ego. Mm. You know why he got in fights? Because he was little. So he had the low man complex. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I done watched this kid on Woodyear Street, man, fight dudes 6'1", 6'2", and knock their ass out. I'm talking about in the street, not boxing in the street. You feel what I'm saying? So I know, like my town, Coach, and I'm not just saying this because I'm from this town. My town don't breed a lot of suckers, home.
Yeah, Baltimore. I'm very familiar with B-More. I'm very familiar with B-More.
We don't breed.
I'm talking about B-More. I'm talking about B-More in the '90s. I'm very familiar. Familiar with B-More.
But Coach, it's even worse. It was even worse in his era, Coach, because it wasn't really no more fighting. They were shooting.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
What nobody really fighting, and because Baltimore is so small, it's an ego-driven town. Like it's a crab town. It's a crab in a barrel town. Everybody want to step on somebody to get over something, right? And only thing he's doing because he didn't know. But now he's learning the business, right? So now he's learning to play Floyd just like the same way Floyd played him. I'm telling you, like when he fought with
I gotta wrap it up. Just
right, so basically, one little short thing. When he fought Pedraza, that was Floyd calling himself, putting him somewhere where he thought Tank wasn't going to be successful. And Tank whooped the boy. The same person that went 12 rounds with Loma.
Okay.
The same person that went he will whip all of them, Coach. I'm telling you, bro.
All right, James, man. Listen, man, I know you're very passionate about Tank, man. You're from B-More. You said you saw him grow up. You're friends with his mom. I understand that. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I just want to clarify that I'm not blaming Floyd Mayweather anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do that.
Ain't no question.
But shout out.
He's just letting them guide his career. That's all.
Yeah, but shout out to James from the ATL. Shout out to you, fam. For B-More. James from B-More in Atlanta. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
What's up, Coach? I got to respond to these Baltimore callers and shit, man.
Who is this?
This is Myron, man.
Oh, Myron. Oh, yes, Myron. Myron, where you calling from?
I'm D.C.
Yeah, you from D.C. Myron. Crazy the motherfucker.
This nigga, hey, oh, my bad. Let me look, bro.
Go ahead.
Look, bro.
Yes, sir.
This nigga talking about this dude knocking out Gary Russell Jr., he lunching like shit, for one, because if Tank believe that, First of all, these B-more cats, let me first of all say, born and raised here, and I'm just 2 years behind the cat who was talking all the smack. Now, the cat who just got on the phone, he was somewhat accurate. But here's the truth. There ain't never been no real true rivalry between DC and Baltimore, because Baltimore has always been in our shadow. Okay? The DMV comprised of everything of around 495 Beltway, and that's a 7-mile radius outside of DC. Baltimore is not considered DMV. Baltimore is 30 miles precisely, 33 miles precisely down 295.
Yeah. I used to drive, I drove trucks, so I know exactly what you're talking about. I used to drive up and down all the time. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so Baltimore is not the DMV. But unfortunately, I've never been with the beef between B-more and none of that stuff and all that. I thought it was really silly. And cats in our age that time, we just try to get our money. But we used to crush those little youngers in the prison. And the dude talking about, you got to go ahead and get, if a DC dude get locked up in a prison in Maryland and everything, he got to find a B-more. Slim is wailing like a motherfucker, because it was nothing but DCs in all the prisons, federal prisons around the whole area. Because we filled out Lawton Penitentiary. Okay? And the problem is, but those cats was always in our shadow, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And I don't think they really liked it, because we did used to punish them in the jail. Yeah, that's in the jail.
I don't want to get into it, but DC was very, very violent, very, very violent in the feds. I just say
and it's and it's nothing proud to be proud of and boasting about that. I'm not proud of that. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm saying we never repaid Baltimore much mind. They was like little brother looking up to us and all that. So you can have cats who not want to get locked up with a whole bunch of DC dudes, because we was always in. So he talk about that on the jail level. You know what I mean? We get locked up.
But as it relates to Tank, like I don't know how we went there. You just replying back to what the brother said, but we was talking about Tank and stuff like that. Dude. We went.
But see, look, your boy Gary Russell Jr. Okay, Gary Russell Jr. came out of Trinidad Avenue. Okay. He's from the Northeast DC, born and raised Northeast DC, Trinidad Avenue. He ended up moving to Capitol Heights, which is just on the outskirts. Okay, so they was in various different boxing clubs and tournaments and all that. And so he knew Tank. And so the thing is, Gary Russell Jr. was always saying Tank was not the best, even out of the Maryland area of boxers. Gary Russell Jr. was calling Tank out. He's not the best. He was the leftovers. The real dudes, the real killers in the boxing, in the golden gloves, silver gloves, golden gloves, and all that. Those cats were played. He was locked up and didn't even make it to go pro because they was in the streets like that. So Gary Russell Jr. knows Tank and his history and everything, and been saying that young wasn't never even like that. Now I don't got no beef with no Baltimore dudes, whatever, but they need to just really be straight up honest on the whole situation. Tank ain't never been on the level of Gary Russell Jr. And that's why Floyd been holding them back. Now, if they make that fight, that joint will be gargantuan. You know what I'm saying? They could throw that joint in FedEx State. They could probably throw that joint in FedEx Stadium. You know what I mean? But Slim was willing like hell thinking about Tank going to knock Gary Russell Jr. He need to cut it with that BS, Joe, for real. Young and lunching like hell. But that's all I got to say. Now, that's to squash that whole beef. But much love to Baltimore, y'all. Ain't no beef. But come on now, be real. Be honest.
All right, shout out to Myron.
Fuck all that shit.
Shout out to my brother Myron, man. Y'all got me in some shit. Y'all got me. Now, as it relates to what Tank Davis is going to do next, I don't know, guys. I don't think he's going to leave Floyd Mayweather. Now that I think about it, why should he? Now that I think about it. You know what I mean? Because the things that's, like the brother say, man, Tank had a 6th grade education. He dropped out to 6th grade. And now you went from that to now you being a multi-millionaire fighting the fighters that you're fighting. Hell, when I look at it, now that I think about it, I'm like, damn. I just want to ignore the boxing fan in me. He said, you know what, man? Maybe he should get a pass. Not. That ain't going to happen.
Man, I'm out of here, bro. Let's go. Come on.